All right, what's up, guys? Steven Story. I got Stacy Graham with me. Guys, if you're watching this on replay, feel free to skip through any part of this. Me and Stacy are going to be having a conversation. As y'all have questions, we'll pop in. At some point, we'll put where y'all can talk to Stacy at. He is in the private group. He is in the main public group as well. But this will be a conversation between two experienced adjusters, and we'll be giving you all some ideas of kind of what to look for, some career strategy, Stacy's experience in the industry, what he's experienced in the industry, and then also what he sees moving forward, what he thinks is going to be, our industry is going to be like moving forward. Stacy, thanks for having you. Thanks for having the time to have us talk to you today.
Anytime you need me, my man, I am here. Thank you for
I,
having me on your platform.
I sure appreciate it, man. So, Stacy, if you would just give everybody an idea of your background in the business.
Okay, I started State Farm in March of 13 as staff. I started off in Auto Express, did that for about a year and a half, then got moved over to the Hail Reconciliation Unit in Property. Did that for about a year and a half, and then moved to a stewardship environment they call HCCS, which is all non-weather claims. So I mainly dealt with fires, water leaks, theft, anything, robberies, suicides, all that. That's what I would do. And then because I saw the ceiling pay wise, I made the jump to IA in 17. Was unemployed for a little bit because it was a slow season, and then Harvey hit. And since then, I'm on break now. I took the break, but other than Corona, I have never had more than 2.5 months off. And
Wow.
my phone's always blowing up. It's blowing up now, but I'm like, I'm not. Until a hurricane, something big happens. I can enjoy. I've made my money, and
Mm-hmm.
I've budgeted right. So you saw it when you were here. I can chill out all day,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
what you can do in this industry if you click all the right boxes.
Let's talk about that real quick because I think that's something that people don't understand. Me and you have both been on long runs before, long runs, year and a half long runs. Several deployments back to back, no break. Why do we work like that?
You work like that, one, because it's what we do. It's where the money's at, and we are able to. And when I say that, I mean it as in the average adjuster doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
I've been on, you know me, they call me Mr. State Farm because all but that 1 month you and I worked together, it's all
Mhm.
been State Farm.
Mhm.
Even when I went 2.5 years and I jabbed through a couple of different companies, it still was, hey, I left on Friday. Monday, I was right back. So
Right.
there's no break. An extra day isn't really a break to us. And
Mhm.
that comes from our ability to handle the claims correctly, our work ethic, and just, I want to say just showing up, but being there, knowing what you're doing, and being able to answer questions when insured's asking.
But I think it's also like a level of consistency, right? Like I find that when I'm on a deployment, that I'm able to continue to extend because you're the one that's extending it. It ain't the company extending it. It's because you're
Correct.
performing. There's a level of consistency there that I think that people don't understand. Like it ain't about being consistent at work. Consistent at work. Your personal life has to be consistent too.
Yeah. Yeah. With me, I've all my deployments have been here in Atlanta, and so I was used to going to the office. So for me, it wasn't anything different. I didn't incur those expenses that folks like you're from Mobile. So for you to come to Atlanta, you got to get another place because I ain't letting you stay here. You got it. You got your food. You got all the other expenses, and I didn't have that.
Hmm.
So I was easier to extend when they looked. And like I said, you show up every day, you're consistent, you answer your questions, your claims aren't jacked up, you don't have a whole bunch of complaints, you're a workhorse.
Yeah.
You know, my manager would always come over with this little sticky note, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" He's like, "It have 3 or 4 claim numbers." I'm like, "What is this?" He goes, "Make them disappear," and he walk off. And everybody's like, "Okay, so now we know only certain folks get those notes."
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
hey, what are you doing? I got a new list. Let me knock this out.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Hey, I've had actual section managers in State Farm send a claim from another firm to me saying, "Hey, I need this fixed. I need it to go away. And I know you're one that can get it done."
Yeah.
And that starts speaking to your work ethic, and then you get known. And even there was one time I got let go. They tapped me on the shoulder. They say, "Hey, you've been here a year." The next day, one of the managers was like, "What, was he out today?" And they're like, "No, he hit his year." And they were like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Oh, we only let people work a year." She's like, "What? Why'd you let him go? You kept all these new folks who don't know, and you let somebody." She's like, "Where's he at? Get him back."
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
back that Monday. She,
Yeah. And they'll
that's how,
fight for you. They'll
yeah,
fight for you, bro. But I think like let's go back. Let's go a little deeper because me and you, we know what we're talking about because we done this. But for the person that is a year into the business, you 8 months in, 18 months in, like me and Stacey said before the call started, guys, I don't think any of y'all know anything until year 3, personally. There's no offense to any of y'all don't know much of anything. And I think that everything's so new and so shiny that like you're just kind of getting by the first 2 years, in my opinion, in this business. I think once you get to year 3, 4, and 5, that's when the real skill sets start to show. But as far as consistency, and that's the point I want to drive home, your personal life has to be as organized as your business, as your professional life. People that have a lot of drama and they got all these little situations going on, it affects your work performance. You will not be able to be a workhorse because your mind's gonna be all over the place.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying, Stacey?
yeah. I mean, when I was running the team, if every day you came in late, you showed up late, or if every day, "Hey, I got this going on at the house, I got that going on at the house," I can be empathetic, but I can also I gotta look, I care, but the carrier doesn't. You're a
Right.
premium product, as we say,
Mhm.
because you're getting paid 2 to 3 times more than what their staffers are.
Right.
You're supposed to be, best of the best. I don't want to hear about your baby mama drama.
They don't care.
Oh, I stayed up late last night. I was watching Game of Thrones. I don't care. So was I. I'm here.
Right.
Oh, that's why I only did 3 claims today. What? I'm
Mm-mm.
you
And I
you want
remember that. I remember that first year in the business, I was late all the time. I remember that. I was late.
yeah.
Going to Johns Creek, I was late all the time, but it was because I was partying.
And here in Atlanta, when I was staff, my TM looked at us and he was like, what traffic's like here.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. Well, you want me to show up an hour early? You got to do whatever you got to do to be in that seat at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
If that means you get here at 7, sleep in your
Mm-hmm.
car till 7:55, come on up. But you can't roll in here at 8:02.
Uh-oh.
Then that's how they look at it.
But the
You know,
thing is, like, what I've learned about the business is I show up on time, not for the carrier. I'm showing up on time for the insured who only has 15 minutes before work. They can call me and talk to me. And if I'm
there's
coming at 8:07, I'm not respecting this person who needs me. All these claim numbers is a person attached to that. It's a situation attached to that. And for those of y'all might have been on the call last week. I was bringing that up. These people are people we got to care about at the end of the day. And so you care through your consistency. You care through your skill set and increasing skill sets, right? And so if you show up whenever you feel like it, or you take days off whenever you feel like it, you don't tell your insurers, you're throwing off everything for them. Like sometimes, especially like on these claims where they're not able to get in the house and need LE, it's 8 o'clock. Okay, it's 8 o'clock in your time. It might be 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock their time. They're calling you before they go drop the kids off at school. And they need to
mm-hmm.
know if this check gonna come in or not.
Yeah. Is the check coming? Am I extended? There's a lot of those things, and just taking off randomly without taking care of things, kind of like when you go on vacation, like, all right, let me hem up everything. Let me go through all my ALE. I know I'm going to be late tomorrow. I'm going to tell one of my teammates, hey, but I'm going to go through and look and say, all right, Mr. Jones, all right, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. And I know your thing is coming up. So let's see where we're at. Where's your, stuff? All right, let me extend you for this and that. It's good. That way you're not, trying to call 12 different people. Because let's be honest, half the people that they call do not give a shit. You're not my insured. I'm not going through your claim. I'm not reading the notes.
Right.
Yeah. I called ALE, and they hang up and don't call.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back to this massive escalation when it was just a 2-second situation.
The thing is, you deserved it though. You deserve the escalation. Like a lot of these things is crazy. I'm listening to you, and I remember those mistakes I made in year one. Because I was like, it's okay. I don't have to call him. All right. Go a 3-day vacation or something. Come back.
And come back. And before you sit down, come over here.
Yeah.
What is this? What is this? What is this? Why is all this? And you're like, huh?
What do you mean? I told him
I thought they were good. No.
I said my voicemail.
And while you were gone, we caught this grief.
Yeah, exactly. I think like that's just one thing. Like we have a lot of pressure in our business for those of y'all who are new, or even like I said, y'all, if you under 3 years, this applies to y'all. Yes, there's deadlines. Yes, there's management and IA management, carrier management. We have a lot of pressure on us. But I think what really kept me honest through my career has been the expectations of my insurers. They expect you to get it done. They expect you to have the answer.
Because you're the one who does it. I mean, they can get the contractor, but who's going to pay the contractor? These folks don't have $50,000, $60,000 to give them.
No.
And if they do, you're working with somebody who's really going to be holding you accountable. Hey, I already paid him the 60. When are you sending me my check?
And that happens. Just to FYI, y'all. And let's go back to deadlines right quick, Stacy. Like I know, you're looking at some of these zip codes with a lot more money in them.
Mm-hmm.
These people will they'll have the money. They'll replace their roof.
130,000 roof I saw the other day replaced before we even got an inspection, and they're like, "What? I wasn't waiting on you to come out."
No, I need a roof. I'll get it paid. And thing is, like, you need to be running to give them their money. If it's approvable, if it's a situation where that can be approved, you got to run like ASAP. Get it done.
Check is direct now, not even in the mail. You've updated your thing, boom, it'll be there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Going with that, because I know this is something that new and newer folks, they're all like, oh, when am I getting those zip codes? I always say, when you're new in the field, you want hourly. You don't want component. It sounds great, but until you learn how to deal with somebody who's got $1 million home, that's an actual real $1 million home, not, I'm in California, $1 million home is a 2-bedroom. I'm talking, 6, 7 bedrooms, bathrooms, and they've got flooding throughout. When you can do that estimate, when you can handle the ALE, all those things, then you want to go component.
Yeah, then you're ready, but you're not ready for the big leagues yet, because all it does is put you in a bad situation.
And those folks will hold you the biggest accountability there is. Hey, you said you called me by 6. It's 6:02.
And then the thing is, don't start stuttering. Don't start stammering.
What do you get me somebody else, because last week you told me blah blah blah, and now I've got this contractor here. He's putting in marble countertops that you said you would approve when you're like, get me somebody else.
Yo, they will put you in a blender, man. And then the problem is like you'll start trying to promise them things. You'll be like, wait, but it's really like it wasn't that bad. And see what will happen is, well, I'm just putting something in the Discord real quick so to remind everybody about the call. But I think let's go to the next thing, which is controlling the conversations with your insurers. They'll start getting angry with you, and you'll try to appease them by starting to apologize, and then you'll start promising them things that's not in their policy.
That's one thing I'll let you vent, and I'll tell you, like, get it all out. Okay, so here I wrote down what your concerns were. So let's go one by one. Boom. This one, okay, this is what you're saying. This is what my field rep has said. Policy-wise, this is what I can cover. Boom, I can do X, Y, Z up front. Anything else is going to require him to come back out.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, it's handled. Boom, this, I see you were told this. I didn't approve it, and it's done. I'll go ahead and take care of it because we told you we were going to do it. Now, if I look in and go, hey, I told you we needed X, Y, Z first, and you went ahead and got everything fixed, I'm not on the hook for that. You got to produce something. And if you don't, unfortunately, I can't do it because that's what the policy, it's not me. That's the big thing to always say. It's not me. I can only do what the policy says. If it was up to me, I'd pay for it, Mr. Insured. I really would. But policy states, and don't state, here's one thing for all you guys, don't state, oh, well, that's above me. Because as soon as you say that,
they want to talk.
Get me the person above you. I don't want to talk to you no more.
Yeah.
And as a manager, I'm looking at why do they need to talk to me? Well, I said it was above me. Okay, well, you need to correct it because I'm not talking to him. Because it's on you. Now I got to deal with your shit. I'll throw it right back at you.
Not a good position to put management in, and they're gonna start questioning your decision making.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, what? Why would you make that? Why would you even say something like that? Hey, let me go look at your claims.
If every day or during the week I got multiple claims from you that were an escalation, then you and I had to start talking. What's going on? How can I help you? Because everything is coming in. And unless they were transferred claims and then my people got them and they're like, I don't know what the hell is going on in this. It's already jacked up. They want a manager. Fine, that's not you. But if you go in there and you don't put your fingers all in it, half-assed it, hey, I got a new claim. Let me I'll just move the calendar forward, and then I'll come back to it. I'll just accept the mail, move the calendar forward.
Don't. People have been fired for this.
And they look and go, well, I sent it 5 days ago. And that's when you get somebody else in your claim and they'd say, well, this was accepted 5 days ago. And then just a calendar. So they're not going to touch it. They're going to send it to you with a note to your manager as well because, hey, it's been 5 days and they did this.
And that's what they're supposed to do. That's the thing, guys. So, I'm going to highlight that too, guys. Your coworkers are not trying to snitch on you, right? That's quality control, because that's what's supposed to happen if your coworkers do that. Hey, look, Stacy didn't do this. Management can deal with it how they want to deal with it. It's not about telling on you. It's just about bringing it to attention so everybody can know. So we can get it. So we can get the claim handled quickly. But you don't need to let this happen often. But what I wanted to say, Stacy, about that trying to appease the insured, do you find when you worked in the office, because you work remote now, but when you were in office, the people who use a lot of those apologetic language, they also were the same people promising us insurers all those things. Hey, I'm sorry this happened. I'm sorry. Let me see what I can do. They were always trying to appease the insured. I felt like I would hear them on the phone talking like that, and then I'll look at their notes and I would see their claim decisions, and I'll be like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah, there were few folks who would do claim counseling. Claim counsel. Hey, I got this. Mr. Insured, hold on, give me 1 minute. Let me take a full look at your claim because I want to make an educated response. I don't want to just shoot off the hip. And they'll turn around and they've got the sincere apologeticness, not that stuff you get when you call us. I'm sorry to hear that your claim has been done. I don't want to hear that. Hey, I am really sorry this happened to you. Give me 1 moment. And they'll turn around and ask, hey, I haven't seen this. What do y'all know about XYZ? There's no storm created open on the roof, but I got 3 rooms of water. What are we doing? First thing, what kind of policy is it? Folks, oh, hey, is it even our claim? That's the big thing. You always got to check, is it our claim? Because the way these companies' phone systems, I get frustrated. I just hit button and now I got you on the phone.
That's a great point.
I want an answer. Well, sir, unfortunately, you're in the wrong department. Let me get you somebody. But then you look at the situation, you can say, okay, this is what I've done. Come back to the insured. Hey, Mr. Insured, thank you for holding. Did check with your policy, did check, with some precedents. This is what I can do. If it's just, oh yeah, we'll take care of that. That never works out in the end. It always comes back to you, because it'll be somebody like me who'll say, I'm not paying this. You said you're paying that. The hell, because if I pay it, it comes down on me when they review it.
Right, and I think that's that. You got to pay attention to what you're writing, and you also got to pay attention to what you're saying. Whether y'all like it or not, these insurers will record you, and it's not really in depositions or whatever, but like, they'll record you. They'll write their own notes when they talk to you, and they'll be like, "Nah, on July 30th, you said this," and you'd be like, "Damn, I did say that," but you didn't write it in your notes, but they got some type of paper trail on you, or you wrote it in. The other thing they'll do is you'll be done caught the plea in the email, doing all that apologetic stuff, and you'll write something in the email and don't write it in the notes. But like I know, Stacy, emails get uploaded into the claim, just
supposed to be. And that, if you didn't know, anything that you do with the claim, if I send Steven an email, I need to carbon copy it so it goes to the file.
Right.
Even if it's just saying, hey, I received it, I'm reviewing, it needs to go over there. Especially if you say, hey, this is what I can pay for, this is what I'm not.
Yeah.
It leaves a paper trail, because, insurance a lot.
Yeah.
In case anybody didn't know, insurance a lot on you about everything. Oh, yeah. Stacy told me he was going to pay for that. And I'm like, no, I'm Stacy, and I told you I wasn't paying for it.
Yeah, they'll lie hard. They'll lie to management about you. Like, they'll lying on you. They don't care. They want to get their way, right? Stacy, what do you think are some good habits for an adjuster with some experience, and they're like, hey, you know what? I got through my first year in the business. How do I get better? And I'm not talking about certifications. What do I need to work on? Like, what do you think?
One of the things is reviewing the policy. Knowing the policy is huge. And what I also say is, if you worked a year in W, looking at State Farm doing weather claims, you may want to dip over into H, dip into the non-weather, and look at the differences in the policy, because things you pay for on one side, you don't pay for on the other. And it was the wildest thing to see folks flip. And even some managers, they were like, yeah, we pay for that. And I'm like, no, you don't. And they're like, how dare you? And I'm like, I'm not trying to be ugly or evil about it, but we don't over here. I was like, look, here it's in the policy. And they're like, what? We pay for this all day over there. And I'm like, yeah, over there. But over here, you don't. And that builds your skill set. The other thing is truly just getting better at your notes, because I worked with a staff manager, when I was doing remote adjusting, the floods and backup sewer and drain. And he kicked a lot of my stuff back. And he's like, your stuff isn't bad, but it's not written in a way that if we go to court, that it wins.
That makes sense.
So he was like, I'm kicking your stuff back, not saying that your stuff is crap. He's like, but I need it in a way as if we go to court, this is written and it doesn't screw us up. And I was like, oh, okay. Show me how you want it. Boom. That made a huge difference. And that's one thing I started looking, when you're in these claims, this is why you just don't want to spout off something. You want to read the notes, because any little thing, I'm tired of dealing with you. I'm going to go get a lawyer. Great. Over at State Farm, I just don't deal with lawyers. So boom, it's gone off my plate. But then suddenly, you get the summons. Why did you said this day, blah, 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 blah. Comes back to haunt you. So those are some things I would definitely do. And just remember that my work ethic is everything. It is the silent thing that makes you different from the rest of the adjusters.
Let me give you an example, because I'm just putting myself I'm just reminding myself of the first year in the business, and these were some areas where I would falter a bit, and I think some of the people watching this, they're going to falter in that, or they are currently faltering in these points as well. When you get tired, that last hour and a half of the day, first hour and a half of the day, you have a tendency to have a breakdown in habits. And so that might be, I don't call people back the last hour and a half of the day. You start kind of getting away with stuff and you think you're getting away with it and you're not. You'll start writing shorter file notes. You'll start abbreviating things you shouldn't abbreviate. And what begins to happen is management will come back and say, hey, Stephen, we're looking at this file. Why did you write this? Why did you say this? And you're like, I don't even know why I did that.
I don't remember. Yeah.
No way. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's that, you like when we were working together, we were doing what, 12 hours? So it was
like 70 to 80 hours.
Yeah, like it was 7 to 8, 12 hours. It wasn't, part of it wasn't bad because we were like 7 to 7. So you got off, we could still do something. But coming in there straight at 7 in the morning, you can't really call anybody till 8. So your first hour is trying to figure out, what do I have on the plate for today? Blah, 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 blah. Then in those last couple hours, I'm tired. And as you know, that place was chaos.
Yeah, it was like a Zoom.
It was a daily Zoom. I remember that first time you tapped me on. So I'm like, what do you want? What? And you're like, you got broad ass talking about, how do I do this? And I'm like, man, I don't even know. Hold on.
Right.
Come on, I'm like, what is this? And then those last hours, what I found was, hey, I know I'm working with this particular insured. He can't answer me any other time. So that last hour, I'm trying to do all those folks who I knew I couldn't get earlier in the day. And I kind of set it as an appointment. Bing, bing, bing. And I never wanted, if they were going to be long-winded or rough, they were the first one.
Right.
If they were shorter, they could go close to the end because, as you know, 7 o'clock, we're done.
Yeah, you walk in, you got to be out.
Yeah, you got to be out.
Sign out.
Yeah, so with those, it's hey, I'm calling to let you know your check's already in the mail. I mailed it at 2 o'clock. I just haven't had a moment to get with you. Everything's sent. Boom. What I started seeing too was things you should not do. It's getting late. You didn't clear all your mail. You clear the mail and leave it up. So when you walk in the first thing in the morning, you are going to handle it. It's all my intention. But as soon as you walk in, they hand you something else.
Somebody left a voicemail last night.
Left a voicemail. Or your computer resets. You don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, that happens a lot too. Or it's a good one. Back when I was unorganized, I would write the claim number down on a sheet of paper, not realizing I've been writing claim numbers down on that same sheet of paper for the last 10 days, and I scratch it out. But sometimes I don't scratch it out. Sometimes I circle it. And I'm like, which one did I scratch out? Which one did I circle? I don't know which one it is. And you have a haphazard way of handling claim notes. And it's also, it's an unsecure way to handle claim notes. Just have your claim numbers all out like that.
Claim numbers.
Not smart to do. But, long story short, guys, like what I found with work ethic is you need to know how you write your claims in your sleep and when you are wide awake. Like you need to be able to do everything in the same fashion every single time. And so that means when you're tired, you still got to be locked in, paying attention. At the end, at 6:30 to 7, those are when mistakes happen. Right before lunch is when mistakes happen. Right after lunch is when mistakes happen. Right when you walk in the door is when mistakes happen. You got to be on your notes and how you make claim decisions have to be as good at those integral points of the day as they are when you're wide awake. You just had some coffee. You just got back from a team meeting. You got to be just as good, and that's where the work ethic comes in at, because nobody's looking over your shoulder, guys. You might not get a spot check on a claim for a month. Nobody's in your claims for a month, and you can just screw up until it's time for a spot check, and you out of there because you've been screwing around.
Yeah, and one thing with work ethic, you don't have to love this job. You know, you take pride. You have to take pride in your work, and just know that while I'm here, I'm going to give it my best, because when you don't, that's what causes the slip ups. And wildly, as a manager, I could look at some of my folks, and if I get something jacked up from them, I'll look and go, okay, that's not like you. I've been through your stuff. That's not like you.
Right.
What happened? Oh, I was dealing with the other one you gave me, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, no big deal. But if you're somebody who every time I look at them like,
again,
what the did you do this time? Or if you call me and you say, hey, I got a question. If you tell me, hey, I know what I want to do, I want to bounce it off of you to make sure I'm thinking right. That is totally different than you saying, hey, I want to do XYZ when you know what you can do. I want to bounce it off of you because I know some things have changed. Hey, can I still do this? Yeah, that you're correct in your thinking. I'll take that call all day. But if you call me and ask me the same question you asked the day before, first time I may give it to you. Second time, did you check your notes? Because we talked about this. Hey, this is the same situation, because sometimes people just don't see it. This same situation as yesterday. Right. So the only difference is the interior versus exterior. I was like, but it's the same. Oh, okay, great. We can do that. Fourth time, bruh, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, it is no fourth time. I mean, and honestly, y'all, like, depending on who your management is, they'll get you out of there.
Yeah, your managers can be cool and just, hey, I love to have somebody call and actually keep me awake. Others, they're like, what, why are you calling me? I mean, I know some of them, they're like, why are you calling me?
They're not playing with you.
And sadly, you have some managers who are like, why are you calling me? And you have a legitimate question. Hey, I've never seen this firecracker damage the pool in the water.
Bro, you know what? Hold on.
That was one I discussed with you. Yeah.
Right. But I think I had a claim similar to that. Like, it was something like so guys, we're gonna run this right quick. So it was a outdoor pool. Was it above ground or in ground?
In ground.
So in ground pools, y'all, when you're in a pool, you don't realize that they have a lining on those. So firecrackers can come in there and damage it. Trees fall in and damage it. Bricks fall in there. Shingles fall in, and they'll rip a hole in the lining, and then the water will leak out through the lining. And then you got to go find out if that policy covers the in-ground pool lining, because it's expensive. It can get quite expensive, as a matter of fact. So like, y'all aren't really ready for that. That's a real technical type of claim. But what are you about to say, Stacy?
I was going to say, that's one of the differences when you start talking about 3+ years. You start having the weirdo claims. Like, as I say, it's kind of interesting, because I'm like, how in the hell does a firecracker burst and put a hole in the lining when the pool is full? I'm like,
the other thing, right? That's the other thing, man. Like, so when I was in Canada, that's what was happening. That's why I remember these claims. I had some pool claims in Canada I was dealing with these pool liners, and the issue was that at least when I was in Canada, was like, it was so out of the norm for them that management was like, just pay it. We're not gonna deal with all of it. We're gonna pay it. And that happens sometimes, guys. You'll have stuff that's kind of in a gray area, like, well, I think it's covered. They don't like it's not covered. Managers will just be like, all right, write a check, get it out of here. We're not going to waste time trying to make a decision on it. We want to make sure these insurers are happy. And this usually going to come, I bet a motorcycle came by. It's usually going to come when you're working for a carrier that has nice homes, right? One thing y'all will notice, especially if you work in property, working property or auto, if you're dealing with like a State Farm, Allstate, some of these more popular brands or carriers, they're going to have better homes and better cars they're insuring, right? But when you start dealing with these, bargain insurance companies, you're gonna be dealing with like
They don't
bargain.
pay shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll tell you, no, we're not paying.
yeah.
When you're with State Farm, some of the larger ones, what I always tell people, I told one of the girls who's now a manager when I was training her, I said, you come from auto. Auto is black and white. It's black and white. It's either a yes or no. You're not making any decision. You're not the car tech, black and white. I said, now you're over in property. Property is gray.
Very good.
I can write for rot if my file note is great.
Mm-hmm.
As we say, we can put some makeup on it. I can pay for things I'm not supposed to pay for that I know I can't pay for, but I got the right file note to do it.
Right.
And one thing we always say, when there's a question, I'm going to err on the side of the insured.
And that's what you're supposed to do, guys. So like the thing is, and this is something I didn't learn my first 2 years in the business. You're on the insurer side, you're not on the carrier side. And the carrier wants you to be on the insurer side too. They don't want to deny haphazardly. Why? Because it goes to litigation, and litigation costs more money than the claim.
Mm-hmm.
So as y'all grow y'all skills, you're going to learn we are not trying to go in litigation. If it's an extra $3,000, if it's an extra $50,000, so be it. But to pay an adjuster, specifically an IA, to work this claim in supplements, or to pay a staffer in litigation on the back end, they get deposed, they got to go through deposition, blah, 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 blah. Just the man hours alone on that, if you got, let's say, 8 adjusters touching that claim over the course of the next 4 months, is higher than what they would have paid on the original extra $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 that you were going to pay out, but you argued against. So I think you don't pay just for no reason. But if it's gray and you're like, you know what, is there some type of precedent set? All right, let's go. Come on.
Pay it and go on.
We're trying to see why is that, guys. Let's understand why we want to pay claims, not like ASAP. We want to pay. You want to get claims in and out fairly quickly, because the longer these claims stay on the books, the closer you get to being in these Department of Insurance deadlines, where you can get the carrier fine. Am I right, Stacy?
Yep. Yeah, you can get carrier fines, and the longer it goes, unless it's complex with like ALE and they're rebuilding, a lot of the house. Why do you still have it? It's a siding issue. Why has this claim been sitting here for 45 days?
Yeah,
this should have been done.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been able to get in touch. And did you call the contractor? You got an invoice. Did you call that number? Oh no, I need to talk to the insurer. No, you need to talk to the contractor, and the contractor's going to find the insurer because that's who he's getting the check from.
Right.
Think it through, get it out of here. There's no excuse for those type of short claims to be in there a long time. Like I said, if you got ALE, the total roof was gone. I got to replace half the flooring. Yeah, that's going to be a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
If you do California wildfire claims, I mean, those are 6, 7 to a year. And that's why most of the time you won't have it, because they'll be like, your stuff's not going to move. That inventory is going over there.
Right. And I think, like, I'm just going back through my mind for new adjusters. Like, it's so much I didn't understand about just the ecosystem of insurance. I didn't understand why we didn't get to touch wildfires, for example. Why am I not able to touch wildfire claims? Why am I not able to handle like these murders and stuff like that happen in these homes and stuff like that? Why am I not able to do that? And it's not because you're an IA. It's just like, well, it is because you're IA, because you're not gonna be around long enough. They can't give you a year and a half deployment, to be able to handle that claim cradle to grave. Like, for example, a suicide in a car could be several months.
Mm-hmm.
Just somebody killing themselves. I hate to be, this is what we do for a living.
It is suicides.
So a suicide or a murder, let's say a murder, because suicide is actually a little shorter, but like a crime that is committed with property, like whether it's a car or it's a crime committed in a home, could last a very long time. It could last the entire length of the case, which could be 2 years, 3 years even. You know, like some of these cars that get stolen and they get found 6 months later, the police department is not even going to let you. They're not even going to give you the car until they get their fingerprints.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to get the fingerprints. They're going to get anything traceable off that car, and they're not doing that tomorrow. These police departments will keep a car for a year.
You have no sense of time with them unless you can, as I say, you also have to have some people skills and learn how to butter folks up. You know, I've called because I dealt with a lot of suicides. So then it's, you know, or confiscated weapons. You know, hey, I got to find out, did you confiscate this or was it stolen? You know, hey, you know, officer so-and-so, how's it going? You staying safe? Yeah, you know, hey, how can I help you? I was like, hey, I just need a quick minute because I know you're busy. I know you got real stuff to deal with. I'm just trying to find out, you know, who do I talk to? If it's you, great. If not, can you point me in the direction? I don't want to waste any of your time.
Yeah.
And I get the info versus somebody else. And when you look in the notes, they just keep calling. Nobody wants to talk to them because you're like, hey, I'm from such and such. I don't care.
They don't. Cops. They don't care about an insurance company.
You're doing what? Who? Okay. Yeah. You can deal with ops. Ops will help you. Who is ops? Call back to the station. You know, and you're in that loop.
Run around again. And the thing is, like, just because you call a detective 10 times means nothing. Okay. It means literally nothing to them. Like, when you get people on the phone, you need to be on point, right? You need to be like, have everything you need right on the spot because sometimes they got time for you. Most time they don't, you know, especially if you're talking about professionals outside of the insurance industry or the ecosystem of insurance, like contractors, construction people. If they're outside of that, guys, they do not care about your little claim. Okay. It can go forever as far as they're concerned. So, like you said, Stace, I think it's like, I thought I had good people skills. I didn't have as good as I thought I did, you know, especially like, for y'all that work in auto, when you calling Copart and Manheim and all those people, you need to be on your best behavior. Okay. You got to be on point because they get calls all day, all night. They do not care about your claim. So you got to be tight. You got to
tight and happy.
And you better know their names. Hey, Jennifer, this is Steven from State Farm. I called you 3 weeks ago. We talked about your son. Oh, yeah, I remember you. Hey, look, I was looking for that white Chrysler 300. Y'all still got it over there? Yeah, let me get over there. When you can't do that properly, that's how insurance adjusters start losing cars on the auto side of things. They don't know what's in Copart. I don't know where it's at. Yeah, they don't know where it's at because they don't like you. Okay.
Yeah, you know, you said something that I don't think a lot of people picked up on. When you said, hey, we talked about your son. Anytime you talk to these folks, especially if you wind up working the same area, you're going to wind up talking to the same folks. So always try to pick up something to personalize. You know, I had one where I called him and I said, you know, the guy had on his voicemail, it's showtime, baby, it's me. And so anytime I called ServPro and some of these other places, I would say, it's showtime, baby. And so they would always crack up. And I never had any issue with those folks. You know, I could call 5 minutes from them close. Hey, I need this. Can you get it to me? Sure. Any other time, yeah, well, we're leaving. I can get it to you tomorrow, which means 3-4 days from now. Boom. And then the same way, when you work with these folks, they'll call you like, hey, are you working this claim? No, I'm not. But, you know, I have a minute. What's up? Let me look. Okay, yeah, let me get that done for you.
Help
you. Then they will make your job so much easier when you got these nasty claims. Because like Steven mentioned, you know, why can't I work this claim? Why can't I work a murder? You don't want to work a murder because now you got to look at the policy and see what is covered. Because depending on how things happen, I may not have coverage for half this stuff. Then you got to have an ugly conversation with somebody who's grieving and you're telling them, hey, I can't pay for some of this ridiculous biohazard of 16, 30, 40,000. I can't pay for it. What do you mean? What do you mean? Who's going to pay for it? You are.
You, you about to,
Unfortunately, I can't pay for it. So,
yeah.
why don't I do a wildfire? Have you seen the contents on a wildfire? Hell, I tell this to everybody I meet who wants to talk insurance. Your home right now, you probably have, let's say if you're renting, I got $20,000 in coverage in contents. You're underinsured. Go into your closet and just take a camera and look around and go back and price everything you see. You're underinsured. You've got to bump your insurance up. So when you'll talk to these folks, right. Hey, I just lost everything in the fire. Okay, great. You got $30,000. Here's my shoe collection. Okay, here's your $30,000. I'm done.
Right.
What about my bedroom? I don't have anything. You don't have the coverage.
That happens a lot, guys. Like that happens a lot. And I think I see a lot of adjusters put their foot in their mouth. And they'll start overpromising on policy. We'll take care of it. We can get it done. We can do it. And they got $5,000 renter's insurance, something like that.
Yep.
A lot. I think like what I would say to you all, especially when you're talking to insurers, especially in these heavy situations, you need to assume they are underinsured to stop you from putting your foot in your mouth and promising and overpromising what can be done.
Yeah.
Under promise, over deliver, guys. This is a part of covering your ass. CYA, like I talk about. Like I have found if I err on the side of it might be a denial, it might not have the money, and then I can give them what they want. At the end, it's a pleasant surprise.
I found you coverage. And that's what
I found you covered. Yeah,
I found you coverage because I'll tell you, this is why I said, give me a moment. Let me look at your claim, because their tactic is get you on the phone, get you scattered, get you to say yes, and then that's all they're going to hear. You told me yes. You told me you're paying for it. No, I told you had ALE. No, you told me you were covering.
Yeah.
Now let me look at this. Okay, you got 10,000 in coverage. Shit. Okay. All right, and everything's burned down. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at policy limits here, which are 10,000. Okay, what does that mean? Meaning that 10,000 is the max that I can pay on this. Yeah. I need these photos, this and this. So when it comes to ALE, you have a separate coverage, and I got 8,000 there. So can I use the 8,000? No, you cannot.
Yeah. I think like. We got about 15 minutes left. What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about some more about interesting claims. And just to preface this, guys, like in a little bit, for if you've been doing it 6 months, if y'all never been deployed, you're gonna get to a point where like you're good enough to start taking on challenging claims that you can take down by yourself, right? It'll start small, and then you become, how do I put this? You earn your respect with other adjusters by seeing how big of a claim you can take down by yourself. There's no management help. There's no claim counseling. There's you versus the claim, right? We're talking big dollar amounts, 50,000 and up, type payouts or denials, right? And so, Stace, I want to ask you, what's some of your interesting claim and some of your bigger claims that you feel proud of that you handled over the years?
Oh, I had one where hurricane Louisiana came through, took off part of the roof, and we started the claim. And while they were in the process of the rebuild, second hurricane came through.
Oh, yeah.
They just knocked out everything that they had already done and worse. And I was talking to the insured, and dude was crying, and I understood it. And I was like, he's like, we're getting this close. It comes back. I'm like, I said, well, the good thing is, it's all covered. That portion. I was like, you don't have another $12,000 deductible. You're still on this. I was like, we're still good on your ALE. I got you covered. I'll just do an extension. I talked to your contractors. Everything's good. It was more of the small talk, just talking somebody through and being there, because that is one thing that we kind of overlook. Even though I'm an adjuster, I am technically your freaking therapist at times, because you can't talk to nobody else about it. Nope. You're talking to your actual therapist. Therapist's like, well, I can't make no claim decision for you. I've had that one. I've had I had the fire outside where the guy just suddenly is claiming a drone, a super MacBook, and a gaming rig that were all in this garage. And I mean, Steven, you know me, I'm a gamer. So when you know that area, and I'm like, none of this makes sense. Like, why do you have a $8,000 computer in your raggedy garage? And it's like, oh, because of the power. I'm like, okay. I'm looking at the photos. Ain't no fire in the garage. How'd it get damaged? Well, let me send you a picture. He sent me a picture of a 20-year-old computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to play investigator. I ate his up. I'm like, this, and I worked. Hey, this, you sent me this. Yeah, great. Okay, I got that. You got the diagnostic? Yeah, I sent it to you. Great. Yeah, I can't pay a dime on it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I said, well, none of this matches. You have to, in a fun way, you kind of now you have to look at everything. Folks will send you an Amazon receipt. I use Amazon all day. I'm like, it don't look nothing like this.
No.
Oh, I ordered all this stuff and it was delivered. No, you didn't. The lines on your page aren't even exactly straight. You can see the little dents. So I know you cut and paste.
Yeah, but I think those claims are actually really fun though.
They're fun. They're fun when you look, because you're like, what is this? One thing that's fun to me, and this I guess is because of the age that I'm at in claims, sometimes trying to figure out when numbers don't match. And you got to go back through and see, hold on, this guy paid here, and wait a minute, this invoice, and you go back through, and then finally you're like, bing, I see it right here. Bing, 8 people back, you paid this, and when you weren't supposed to, and it was put over here, and then I usually do my walk off,
Yeah, you like, yeah, you got to call somebody and tell them what you did. Hey, come look at this play like this.
Yeah. You know that one that all y'all spent 4 hours on? Yeah, I found it. The insurance all frustrated. You owe me $300 now. Here it is. Bing, I paid you. Bing.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a kick out of sometimes it won't be a big amount, it'll be a small amount. I'll have an insurer trying to get over on me like on $200. And I'll be like, I don't think it is. Let me go look at the policy. I look at my policy. I go through looking because see, here's the thing, guys. Always the policy that backs you up. Sometimes it's like, Stacey, what's the name of it? The National Insurance Database. They'll have had a claim from another carrier.
Oh, now that you asked me, ISO. ISO. Yeah, you filed this before.
Bro, like ISO, ISO will get a new adjuster. Easy. Because what'll happen is, especially like in Florida or like in Louisiana, hell, some of these roof claims, they will have gotten paid on it 5 or 6 years ago. And you'll go back and you'll look at their damage. And for those of y'all who know your material, you'll know when you'll see a roof with older damage on it. And they'll have a mix of old damage, new damage. You'll be like, this damage was 5 years old. If they file for new damage, I'm sure they probably file for old damage at some point. Check your ISO. I had gone through like 3 or 4 weeks on a claim, never ran ISO, came back and looked at it, and I was like, oh, this is a denial.
Yeah, we already paid you for this.
And
you never fixed it.
I'm sending this to SIU.
Yeah. So look, what do you mean that's new damage? Yeah, but you never repaired the roof. I paid for you to repair the roof. I'm not paying it again.
Right. And thing is, guys, I think that's a variable there. Like when you tell somebody you're going to approve them based on what you see originally, that's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that if you haven't checked your ISO. Once you check ISO and like, oh, you're lying. I believed you, but you lied. So your policy's getting canceled, by the way. And SIU coming to get you.
Yeah. Those are interesting. Those are interesting.
Just FYI, we don't tell insurers they're lying on the phone. Okay.
You don't tell them it's fraud. You don't tell them that they're lying.
It's all bad faith.
One thing you and make sure you do, because this happens a lot. Verify the risk photo with the address.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
you'll see it a lot. Field rep will actually go to the house next door, scope it and everything, and they're like, I don't see any of this. What are you talking about? And the guy's like screaming. What? And then you look and you're like, oh, we got the wrong house. So then now your credibility is shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that happens, especially in cats, guys. You have new field adjusters. But I think that but back to the whole like kind of building out your skill set through taking down bigger claims or detailed claims or complex claims or something that other people missed because they didn't read file notes properly. That's when you kind of see your skills growing, right? If you haven't done that yet, especially my folks have done this for a year, if you haven't taken down big claims yet, and you're still asking management for help on every decision, you still got a ways to go. You know, in my opinion, I think my biggest one, Stacy, I took down $600,000 total loss, 2-story house. I took it down by myself. The whole from start to finish. All I did was ask for approval. Look, cashed out Ailey, cashed out everything, and sent $600,000 check.
I mean, what's hilarious? I had one, and I looked at it, and I'm like, I'm not touching this without a manager looking at it because things are a little bit different at the farm. But it landed in my lap, and it was $138,000 check to go straight out to the insured. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, no. Let me, I called him and I said, I've looked over this. This was a transfer. I've looked over it. Everything looks good, but I need that red ink in there before I do this. And the reason why I always say that, because if there's anything wrong, the manager approved it. It's not on me. Because as an IA, as soon as they got a problem with that high level, I'm gone.
Yeah. And just as we wrap up a bit, guys, write a check the wrong way if you want to. I was on a deployment, and somebody's supposed to send out like a $6,000 check, and they sent a $6 million check, fired immediately. They sent a $6 million check out. The check didn't make it. You got, because a check that high is going to be approved by like the president of the IA firm, and then it'll get approved by carrier management. But just something as simple as you put a couple extra zeros in there, because checks can get canceled. You personally can cancel a check in most carriers.
Yeah.
And when they did that, first of all, they made an example out of them in office. They was like, yo, this person did this. Oh, yeah, by the way, go ahead and pack your stuff up. Just FYI, ain't none of y'all gonna mess this up no more. So I think that's the first thing is your checks. Guys, check your addresses, all right? Especially when we're in hurricane season. Why? Because if the mailbox is not there because the mailbox blew away, you cannot send that check to that address. It's gonna be returned to sender. It's hurricane season, and these people need this money to live on. You cannot afford to be doing this whole sending and resending check thing. They need that money. When you say it's coming on Tuesday, it better be there on Tuesday.
Yeah, there's a lot of the direct deposit stuff. And for newer folks who may not realize, you're going to have to put mortgage companies on these checks.
That's another part of being that work ethic.
And the reason why you have to put the mortgage company on is they have thresholds. And some are called what we say $1. JP Morgan Chase, you check $1 for $1.02, JP Morgan needs their name on it. They want to know about it. The whole reason really goes back to Katrina, when these folks were getting these checks cut, saying, oh, yeah, my cousin Billy over here is going to do my rebuild. Here's the estimate. Oh, that's in line. We send out the money. Billy and the insured now are in Atlanta, having Twerk Fest 99.
Yeah.
And then that just was happening to such a degree that they said, now, boom, we got to be on these checks because we're not, when you abandon the property, we got to pay that money.
But Stacy, tell them what happened when you send that check out without the mortgage company on it.
When you send that check out, I send the check to Steven for $12,000 to repair the roof without the mortgage company. The mortgage company finds out. I, as that carrier, have to stroke another check to the mortgage company. So now I've paid $24,000 instead of $12,000. Depending on how God's grace you are, you may survive that.
But
you may not. But that is extra money paid out that shouldn't be.
here's the thing: the insurers do not care. They will cash that check.
What do you mean? Why does my mortgage company have to be on there? What do they have to do with this? They don't have anything to do.
They don't pay the insurance policy.
I pay that. Well, they have an interest in your home. They're the lien holder. And half the time they're behind. They're behind, and they don't want to send the check off because they know they're going to keep part of it.
And another thing they'll do is these mortgage companies, if the insurance had a home for like 15, 20 years, that mortgage company went out of business and that mortgage would have been bought by somebody else. And so they were like, oh, no, my mortgage is through, Bank of America. Well, now it's through, Jiffy Lube Properties. And they'll be like, well, you ain't got to write it to Jiffy Lube Properties. Just write it to me. I'll get it.
I'll get it to them.
I'm telling y'all, you'd be surprised. Like you think that like adjusters wouldn't fall for that, but they do all the time because they're not paying attention.
Everybody's in a rush, and people do what we call fishing. I call Steven. Hey, Steven, I don't believe the mortgage company should be on check. Yes, I've checked, and it's supposed to be there. All right, whatever. Click. Wait 5 minutes. Call back. Hey, Melissa, I just got this, and it's not supposed to be on there. Melissa's new. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll stop and research. Yeah, I can help you with that. Boom. Then suddenly I come back through. Why'd you take this off? I got to call him back because I'm showing it's uncashed. Boom. Hey, I put a stop on that. I have to get your mortgage company back on it. Give me your manager, by all means. It's not a management issue, but by all means, because I had that. And we went back and forth, and they were screaming at the manager, and the manager said, it's got to be on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be on there, and it's in the policy, and it's also in the mortgage. The mortgage company have first rights. They have first rights to these checks. They got dibs on the check, guys. Don't be scared, but just understand that is a mistake people make, and they make it a lot more than I think people want to admit. I also think that it's something that's easily avoidable, but you guys, like, when you sit in that chair, all this texting and that stupid shit y'all do with these phones, you got to put these phones away. I'm telling y'all, look, like, y'all know I'm pretty heavily involved on social media. It's either that phone or your job. And I'm talking, that goes for everybody. It's not just young people or older people. I've seen these phones distract people many different ways, whether you work remote. If you're in the field, guys, and you're on your phone, you can die on that roof, falling off a roof. And it does happen. These guys will walk themselves right off a roof, walking backwards, right off a roof, texting or doing stuff they would do on level ground that they not supposed to be doing on a roof. And they'll fall off. They're breaking legs, puncturing lungs, breaking ribs, breaking arms, and shortening their storm season because they're in the hospital. And they literally they'll walk off a roof because they're not paying attention. So I want to just really speak on these cell phones, guys. When I work remote, I worked remote for a whole year. I would put my phone in another room, and I would just work straight, no music, no nothing, like a psychopath. You know what I'm saying? What I found was I could explain my mistakes to management when I did that. I never could explain my mistakes when every 5 minutes I'm doing this and, oh, hey, bro, 1 second, man, I'm just on the phone right quick. Hey, hold on, man, my insurance call. Like, you do that enough times through a day, guys, you're gonna make mistakes that you can't explain. You're gonna make typos you can't explain. You're gonna miss emails and phone calls and voicemails you cannot explain. Am I right, Stacy?
I'm laughing because there was one night I was working doing an estimate, and I had Twitter up, and they showed that clip from one of the judgment little court things, one of the first ones. Mm-hmm. And old girl comes out there with that forehead that was back here with those braids.
Yeah.
And I sent, because I had both keyboards. I'm looking at it. I sent the note saying this chick got a 9 head.
Oh God.
I
In the
sent
note?
it. It was on the estimate. The estimate said this chick got a 9 head, 224 square feet. And I'm like looking because my friend's like, why did you send me this? And I'm like, it had the explanation. What are you? Oh my God. And I looked and I was like, thankfully, it wasn't that I could erase it. But I've made those mistakes talking to somebody, keying in a note, and you realize you've wrote in your note what you were discussing.
Yeah. Like I never made that mistake. But I did stuff like that in the emails. I've done stuff like that on voicemails. Because what will begin to happen, guys, your mind's gonna get so full of information day in and day out between reading and writing and talking to these insurers day in and day out. You're gonna start blending stuff. And you gotta cover yourself. And I know it doesn't sound it sounds inconsequential. Man, it's just my cell phone. Like my first year in the business, I thought it was punitive. Like, man, I should be able to have my cell phone. Who they think they are? But with time, I realized, yo, this cell phone is shortening my deployments. It's messing the money up. Bro, I got to the point at State Farm, I was leaving my cell phone in the car. I would leave it in my car because I found that my phone was distracting me that much. And so guys, like I said, as we wrap up, you want to do 6 figures, you got to fine tune everything about your life to be centered around you being a really good adjuster. You know, you want to have a nice home, you want to have a nice car, you want to you want to have financial freedom, you know, being debt free. You want to be able to provide a new life for your family. So, guys, you got to tighten up on all sides of your life. You know, like some of my younger people, that means no partying. Okay, ain't no more partying. You just party when you're deployed, when you're not deployed no more.
But I got to twerk. I got to do that. I got to show off.
Yeah,
for the gram.
Yeah, but you know the issue is that I remember this. It was Super Bowl in Atlanta. Stacy, you know what I'm talking about. I'm working at State Farm, and me and a bunch of other IAs, we get a section. Now, you know, we're making $2,000 a week, so you know, let's, you know, $2,000 on a section between 8 people, whatever. So it's Super Bowl Sunday, as in we have work on Monday, and I am wasted. Like I'm like for real drunk, and it's me and like 7 other adjusters. So they each one of them buys a bottle, you know, and you know, like I thought the Falcons was about to win, you know, so I'm like, we about to win a Super Bowl, you know, and I remember coming to work drunk the next day, like fully drunk at work, and I remember being like, yo, a mistake on what I'm doing right now. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm so gone right now. Like I am still drunk. Like I didn't get done drinking till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm at work at 7 a.m. I'm not even at hangover time yet. I'm still completely drunk. Like, and I'm just telling y'all, I'm saying this to say this, guys, like every city you go and work in ain't no lame city. You're gonna be working in Washington, D.C. and Miami and Houston and you know, New York City, guys. Like people get deployed to all these big major cities. And you're gonna have a whole bunch of money burning in your pocket, and you got to say, "I'm going to bed at 10:30 tonight because I want to be at work on time." You know, that's where the work ethic shows up. So, as much as like, yeah, it was fun, but I was also super scared, and I don't know why I was able to keep my job.
You got saved because it was Atlanta.
Yeah,
you were in Atlanta because everybody knew. That's one of the things. Like I look, and I always tell folks, I'm like, you don't want to take Thanksgiving and Black Friday off. You want to take that. You want to take the Monday that week after off. And people are like, why? I said because Black Friday is calm day. Ain't nobody calling in. You know, Thanksgiving. You know, I worked on no calls, 1 or 2. But that Monday, they realized how much money they spent. So they call about all these accidents, all that stuff. No, I don't want to hear all that garbage. Take that week off. Yeah, hey, yeah. You know, you got family. I work. I've
worked Christmas, by the way, guys. I've done Christmas Eve. I've done New Year several years. Like I don't really, I I didn't mind, right? Again, let's go back to work ethic, guys. I know some of these holidays are super important. You got kids, you got family, that's fine. But look, if you're not attached, pay what pay it forward, right? Just go ahead and bite the bullet, and you work those holidays, because what happens is when you make that mistake on that check, when you make a little error here and there, those days give you grace with management. Hey, you know what? When I asked him to work on Thanksgiving half a day, he did it. No questions asked. He didn't complain. He actually did pretty good. When I asked him to work Black Friday, 4th of July, when I asked him to work New Year's, you know what? You're good. You say you need to leave a little early, you good. I'll get you. I'll have you taken care of for the whole day, and that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, is it fun to miss holidays, guys? Yes, I've missed a few Christmases, but I don't have to work all year round no more.
Mm-mm.
That's the payoff. Okay, they got Christmas Day off. Okay, well, I get June off. I get July off. I get March off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in 2 weeks, I'll be off 2 months.
And it feel great.
Feel great. Wake up, walk the dogs. I look at the market. I can go right back to bed. I make my money. I can do it. But before,
that's what good adjusters do.
It was the scramble. I'm up. I got to make sure I'm in the car and on the way. There's that. And, I'm in Atlanta. I still got to leave 2 hours early to show up on time.
Yeah. That's just what it takes, But like, I would say to my adjuster, a bit more experienced guys, do what it takes. Become a real professional. The money you're getting right now in your first few months of the business, that's just kind of like an incentive to get better, right? But like, year one completed, year two completed, strive for professionalism. How good of an adjuster can you be, right? How much respect for your skills can other people have? Like your coworkers. Not, hey, I think you're a cool person. Yo, let me tell you something. When I hear Stacy on that phone call, when I get in his notes, when I walk by his desk, when I look at his email carbon copies, it looks beautiful. This guy ain't messing around. What is he doing? I want to be a leader in my deployment. When people see, like, because I've been on both sides of it. I've been there where I'm the scrub that don't know nothing. Then everybody be like, dang, Steve, again, come on, bro, get tightened up. And I also worked my way up to the point where it's like, yo, hey, Steven, I'm looking at this claim. I know you know policy. What do you think about this? And that's a good feeling, guys. It's a really good feeling. I hope all y'all get to feel that one day where management is like, yo, I know you know policy. Hey, I know you know building material. Hey, I know you know, X, Y.
Electronics. I get all the time. Does it make sense? Yeah, that makes perfect sense to have that size TV, blah, 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 blah. But then they're like, hey, do you think a 70-inch TV can get stolen on that? Not at that place, no.
No.
No, everybody's on foot? No. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. And those are just, those are things that we all can be good at, right? Like, I'm good with building materials because I got a construction background. I worked in construction, and then on top of that, I did field work. And so most people ain't got a construction background, and they haven't done field work. So when it's time for those types of things to happen on a deployment, I'm the man. So you can use your niche abilities, your niche skill sets to help you stand apart. Stacy, I appreciate you, man. We're gonna wrap up for the night.
Anytime.
Y'all, this will all be on replay. Stacy's in the groups, guys. So y'all can always hit Stacy up if you got questions. You can hit him on Twitter. What's your name on Twitter, Stacy?
I am Man Called Sphinx.
Man Called Sphinx. Perfect. Well, look, guys, y'all got questions. Y'all can always hit Stacy up. He has a wealth of knowledge. I put this live, but we're gonna do it on a replay, so y'all see it on replay. So me and Stacy just talk, and I'll probably clip this video up a bit too, so y'all can kind of get some of these things in a more digestible way. This video is private, so it's on YouTube, but like ain't nobody gonna be able to see it but us. Those of y'all who have the link. Anyway, guys, if y'all got this far into the video, I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. Stacey, you can stay on. I'm going to end the broadcast.
Okay.